again, everyone. Jim here from Remick Museum and Farm, and I'm over here at the Big Maple, which usually is the beef cow's favorite shady spot, but no one's here, so I'm going to need to go in search of them for this week's topic, which are majority of our beef cows are the Herefords. So let's travel around, see where they're at right now, and I've got some video from weeks and months ago too to help tell the story of how our Herefords are living here at the farm. All right, so let's go. On this hot day, it didn't take too long to find everybody. So half the herd right now is over in the shade of the cattle barn, and the other half is in the shade of the pasture. You'll have to look closely for those little white colored heads in the grass. But they're certainly out there laying where it's shady. A few days earlier, I was able to get out there when it was a little cooler and caught them usually where they're at, and what I like to call a meeting of the moves. You've got all the cows and heifers and calves on the left there, and all of the males on the right. They're currently separated. And over here, when they're close to the gate, when it's a little cooler, I can get a little bit closer to them and you can see them a little bit easier. And here you can see our Herefords, that very distinct color pattern of red with white on the face and around the hooves and the tails. And it's exciting for me because this is the type of cows I grew up with back on my family farm in Iowa. So making sure we're rotating pasture is important. You can see this is our most impacted lot here. This is where the cows spend a lot of the time through the winter. This is earlier in the year when the whole beef herd were together. And you can see they're patiently waiting for a hay bale. But this lot has access to the inside barn area there for shade or for warmth during the winter. And this lot is where we feed the hay bales for the cows. And for hay forage, you have a couple different options. You have the traditional dry hay bale that you cut and wait for it to dry, and then bale it up with a machine to compact it and make sure that it's stored so it can be fed. Or what we're going to have a little bit is what we're going to talk about today. We can make something called baleage, and baleage is using non-dry hay. And this is what's being fed right here. You can see the white plastic is the final plastic wrap that maintains the moisture, and actually inside it is fermenting. And that serves a couple of purposes. One, it preserves the wet hay, which would rot otherwise in a less oxygen environment. And with all of that moisture still there, this is actually going to keep a lot more of the hay. You're not going to lose the hay. Nutrient quality ends up being higher because you're keeping it closer to what it was like when it was fresh. And actually, with some different types of hay, baleage or silage and different materials, this can actually have positive impacts on carbon emissions. So we might end up with less CO2 emissions because the food quality is better for the cows. We are certainly striving to make adjustments as we go along and promote solid, sustainable farming methods. So we're always looking for new ways to help and keep a sustainable system, and also make sure that we're staying connected to the history of the property. And while Remick Farm might be very well known for our dairy cows, there were a lot of beef cows here historically as well. You can see that the cows are patiently waiting for their bale to be ready. They're pretty used to this system. But while they're getting ready, we can talk a little bit about the negatives of using baleage, and you can see the excess plastic that gets removed from each bale. both the inner wrap and the outer wrap. So the outer wrap is specific to baleage, and that's extra plastic use. It requires an extra bit of machinery to put that on, and hopefully in the future there will be more sustainable methods created, maybe some non-plastic alternatives that would work the same. And also just making sure that the baleage is put together and made correctly, so that it's safe for the cows to eat. And back to our talking about Herefords particularly. Sometimes, again, you'll see some other breeds mixed in with the beef herd, but Herefords officially were started as a breed in 1742 in England and made their way in 1817 to the United States, and now are a very much established and very popular beef cattle breed in the United States, especially the Polled Hereford, which you see in front of you here. And usually our beef calves are out with their moms and with the herd always, but unfortunately sometimes things happen, and MJ's mom here had mastitis and is now a bottle baby. Fortunately, both are doing all right, and MJ can hang out with Rue and Rio and have some nice social time with some of the dairy calves. Well, on a hot day like today, sometimes it's just best to move from the shade tree to the shady barn. Well, it is a hot day here at the farm, so I'm back over at the big maple shade tree and going to say goodbye for this video. I hope you enjoyed taking a tour of the farm a little bit and seeing our Hereford cattle and learning a little bit about them, not only here, but just kind of historically as well. And for some of the goats and myself, I will say goodbye, keep well. Of course, if you're liking what you're watching, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're following along on Facebook, make sure you give us a like and share with friends if you think this is something they would enjoy as well. All right, we'll see you again real soon. Bye.